Hawthorn, what do they need at the AFL draft? We continue our club-by-club AFL draft series today. The Hawks on the agenda. Tune in to find out the players that could be in their range and on their hit list.
Let's chat Hawthorn.
Yeah.
Their potential draft plans this year. So their draft hand picks 7, 25, 55, and 68. So that's 2,133 points. Trying to preview the Hawks' draft plans is really hard because I actually can't pinpoint a certain amount of list needs they have. Like you look across every line and it seems like they're well settled, not only for now, but for the future as well. And you look, they're maybe key defenders, but they've just got Battle, and Barras isn't going to be around for that much longer, but I've got Will McCabe waiting in the wings, Jai Sarong as well. Josh Weddle can certainly play a bit taller, and James Sicilly's got a fair bit of time, I think, in his career to go. Forwards, they probably were a bit of a concern, their tall forward options, and now they're absolutely stacked with how Jack Gunston's playing, Mitch Lewis back, Cal Shadir, Marbior Chol. So they're ticked off there. So maybe it's midfield, maybe it's some outside run, and maybe it's a player who can play at centre bounce stoppages, but also just offer some burst because they have Jai Newcomb and Will Day when he's fit. Cam McKenzie and Josh Water in that mix, but I'd like to see just a nice, clean, speedy midfield. I kind of like when we talk about Geelong's draft plans and they've already got that Max Holmes and Bailey Smith mix.
Yeah, exactly. I think you've hit the nail on the head. Like the emergence, I'm not sure if I've referenced it in this podcast. I've certainly talked about it a lot in conversation, but the emergence of Ed Richards this season as a bona fide midfielder, I think is very symbolic of the way that AFL is going, moving away from your in and under, terrier type of
Miles
players.
Bergman's another one.
Yeah, exactly. Who's re-signed at Port Adelaide. So those sort of run and gun dashing midfielders are the players that are going to be in demand and the players that are going to have a more and more prominent role. And Hawthorn, like you say, have got Jai Newcomb. They've had James Warple. He might be on the way out, but their midfield has been somewhat, not built around that, but certainly they've had those players as key playmakers in there. I think the run and dash is really important for a team which certainly thrives on fast ball movement. Obviously, we know how good their small forwards are. You think about the way they played last year when they were at their best, they were really, really hard to stop. And I think having a midfielder with good fleet of foot, with good speed and really good ball use in the ilk of a Sam Grill, in the ilk of a Yevon Filippo, certainly would be what the Hawks would be after, if possible, with that early selection. And they're a club that, unlike a lot of clubs in this draft class, doesn't really have a clear player attached to them via an NGA or father-son. So they've got Kobe Williams, maybe becomes a late option depending on his late season form at the Western Jets. And then Goy Jath is also in there at NGA. But at best, he'd be a rookie chance from the Gippsland Power, the brother of Chanquoth Jath. Yeah,
there was obviously that talk about Ollie Greaves. And while, yes, they are one of the clubs more starved of top-line talent, I was pretty happy that Greaves didn't get that match up with the Hawks and that he is an open pool player. They do have Cooper Hodge next year, who we might touch on in a second, that kind of player and the battle that they'll be in to get his services. But you're right. Philippou, Grill, a Josh Lindsay type. None of these grab and kick forward players, but ones that can get the ball on the outside, lower their eyes, get out the front of stoppages with some run and some pace, and hit targets inside forward 50. So I think that's the kind of player if they're circling a list need. That's the route they'll take.
But Cooper Hodge, he's been training at the club this week, and he feels the feeling is probably that it's pretty close to 50-50. Does he go for the club where his dad is an absolute stalwart, obviously father-son Luke Hodge, or does he go for the Brisbane Academy, which has been so influential in his nurturing of talent as a footballer? It's one that will be really intriguing as the next 18 months unfold.
Yeah, it's certainly going to be an exciting one for both clubs, but at some point a decision will be made. Some great form with Brisbane's Academy in the CTL, likely Allies squad member next year.
Absolutely.
He's got a big decision to make, and it'll come over a year's time, but he'll be certainly one to watch for both clubs involved.